great game for game one again. Pitching staff was outstanding. Charlie Barnes threw 5, hadn't given up anything, and even in the 6th inning, gave up a hit. Leadoff guy got on base, found his way to third base with 1 out, and he had a big punch out and only surrendered 1 run, which I thought was a big situation at the time. It was a 3-1 game at the time, and he had second and third with 1 out, came up with a punch out and only gave up 1 run. So I thought Barnes was outstanding. And then Eubanks, followed him up and was really, really good. So I thought our pitching was excellent tonight. Offensively, I thought we got better as the game went on. If you look at the quality of our at-bats got better as the game went on. We were only able to get the leadoff guy on, I believe, in 3 innings, but we scored 5 of our 6 runs in those 3 innings. So one of our big goals as our offense is get the leadoff guy on base and just hope that Pender comes up. So Pender carried us tonight, came up with obviously 2 homers, drove in 5. So had a big night for us. But it all started with a walk, and then I think Weston Wilson had a 2-strike single. Chris Williams led the inning off with a walk, 2-strike single by Wilson to get on base. Had a great at bat and then the 3-run homer. So tonight it was all about Pender. He carried us offensively.
You mentioned Pender, 3 home runs already this season. How about having a leadoff guy with that kind of power?
Well, it's a lot of fun. When you got a guy that's hitting in the leadoff spot that has some pop. And the good thing about it is he's going to come up to the plate more than anybody. So when you've got a guy like that who could get 4 or 5, at bats in a ball game, when he's got some pop, he can swing the bat. He's a dangerous guy. So it's good to have a guy like that hitting in the one spot for us.
Does it surprise you at all, that kind of pop?
I wouldn't say he's a power hitter. He may think he is, but I wouldn't say he's a power hitter. But he is a guy. He's a pull hitter. He gets the head of the bat out. That's just how his swing works. And he's timed up some pitches here lately and got the head of the bat out and got him up in the air and hit him out of here. He does have some pop. I wouldn't say he's a power bat, but is it surprising? Well, it may be a little surprising to me just because, one thing that a lot of people don't realize, Chase didn't get to play all fall for us. He didn't get any at-bats outside of just, he'd go up there and bunt because he was dealing with a shoulder injury all fall. So, I think he's healthy and obviously he's swinging a big bat for us right now.
What are the effects of having Charlie and Alex like that and not having to use anybody else and win a game? What all does that help you do to set you up?
Well, it's huge for us. When you pitch 2 guys on Friday night, then you have the rest of your bullpen along with your 2 starters to pitch 2 ball games. So it's huge for us to be able to get a quality start like Charlie gave us in game 1, get us through 6 innings, and then have a guy like Eubanks that you can piggyback with him and carry you the rest of the ball game and throw up zeros, because it allows us to use everybody that we've got in the bullpen. If we get in any sort of trouble, we can go with some guys longer in relief if needed in games 2 and 3 of the series. So it's really big when you only use 2 guys on game 1. It sets up pretty nice for the rest of the weekend.
Through 2 starts, how has your evaluation of Charlie altered from what you thought in the preseason, and especially with his next start is going to be a tough one in South Carolina?
Well, the positives of Charlie Barnes right now is I thought he pitched better in start number 2 than he did in start number 1 against a better offense, a little better lineup. That lineup's a fairly veteran lineup. A lot of those guys that played for them tonight started for them last year. I thought he executed his pitches better tonight than he did in start 1. He was able to pitch, throw his fastball in and out, had the changeup going. Didn't have to throw his breaking ball a ton. Just because of his ability to locate the fastball in and out. And when you got a left-hander that can locate the fastball in and out, and throw a change-up that guys are going to swing through, those guys are tough for anybody. So very, very pleased with how he threw, and hope he continues to get better and better, because he gives us a guy that can go out there on Friday night and compete with anybody.
You had Brian in the outfield and Barry DH. Is that something we're going to see more of going forward?
I think it's just something, again, that we're going to do just depending on the game and the situation. Bear's going to play some in the outfield as well. We felt like we wanted to reward KJ. We gave him his first start on Sunday, and he played very well for us last Sunday. And we had a lefty. It was a lefty matchup tonight. Left-hander started for them. KJ's a really good outfielder and got a knock tonight. And he, we felt like it was the right thing to do to give him another start. KJ's going to be in the mix, but Seth Beer is going to be in the outfield some as well. He's going to be in there, obviously every day, hitting in the middle of our order. But we may, move him from right field into the DH spot if we want to get a right-handed bat in there versus a left-handed pitcher. It just gives us some options.
Are you comfortable for 4 games, Monte, with your middle of the order and really 1 through 7 with that particular batting order?
I wouldn't say it's definitely a set order. I feel pretty good about where we're at with our position players, but I could see potentially at some point in time, just because I've never really had it where it stayed the same throughout the whole course of the year. Sometimes you may take a guy who's really, really hot and bump him up in the order, or if you got a guy that's struggling from time to time and you want to take some pressure off of him, you bump him down. I do it more to try to help the player. If I feel like I need to bump a guy down in the order just to take some pressure off of him, a lot of times they'll start hitting. Heck, sometimes I bump them up in the order to get them more at bats to try to get them going. It just depends on the player and the situation. It depends on the matchup, if it's a lefty or a righty. But we feel pretty good about where we're at right now, but I could see us at some point in time maybe mixing it up a little bit in terms of the batting order.
How much did you emphasize getting off to a good start after losing Friday last week?
We talked about it all week. The big thing that we tried to talk to our guys about all week was just being relaxed in game 1. We were pretty relaxed and loose in the dugout games 2 and 3 last weekend. I thought game 1 is opening day, so everybody's got some nerves and some jitters. And Friday night there tends to be more nerves and jitters than any game of the week because it's kind of the marquee game of the weekend. So my big message to them all week was let's just go out in game 1 of this series and just be relaxed, play baseball, have good approaches offensively. We know Barnes is going. We know he's going to compete and pound the strike zone. Let's make all the routine plays behind him and just stay relaxed and try to put together good at-bats and find ways to score runs. And I thought we did a pretty good job of that tonight.
Anything else?